Hello paper crafters, I'm Sunny Sky. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and today our cards are featuring the Jar of Love stamp set, but you'll never guess what we're creating. Holiday stamps. We're going to use the Stamparatus and create a wreath with this simple wheat stamp and then the center of the flowers. So let me show you, you can do either a Christmas theme card or a Thanksgiving theme card. Both of them using the exact same two stamp sets. So let's get started. Are you ready to create this wreath card? I will tell you there was a little trial and error involved, but really it was simple once I got the placement. So again, it's just this little leaf stamp here, or grain of wheat, and the centers of the flowers there. So let me show you a couple that I did before I got to the real one that I wanted. First of all, I placed those two stamps on my Stamparatus. And when I stamped them around the first time, it seemed more square-ish than I wanted. And so I moved the flowers inland. I knew that the wheat was where I wanted it. I moved the flower pieces inside, and then it didn't seem like a wreath. It was so full in the center that it was circular, but it wasn't a wreath. So I just moved them one more time, and then I got my placement there, which I liked. Now I'm left-handed, so I'm going to work with my Stamparatus, which could be technically considered upside down. Okay, so we've got our template in here. Look at my previous video for how I designed this template. It's basically a 3-inch square. And so I'm going to put my 3 inches of cardstock in here, my 3-inch square of white cardstock. And I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to do it in the Christmassy color. I showed you the design in the Thanksgiving color, but we're going to stamp it in Christmas. And you'll see that I don't have the stamps placed right next to each other. If you have them too close, you don't want the stamps themselves to overlap. And you see I didn't get that inked up well. I think it was inked. I think I just didn't press it well. Because everything is exactly where it was before, we can double stamp, which is a really handy thing. Also, I can make several of these cards and I don't have to replace the stamps each time. So I've stamped it once. I'm going to turn it 1/8 of a turn, re-ink. And you'll see this green on here. It doesn't really matter because that is elevated from where the stamps are. So it's not getting on my cardstock, even though it does make you feel like it's going to get on your cardstock. Turning it one more turn here. You just have to kind of remember where you are in those turns. The first couple times that I did this, I ended up trying to turn it twice. In fact, I think I did that there, didn't I? Turned it twice. So let me turn it back one turn and get that one that I missed. But you can see where you've missed it in your design, so that is pretty handy. Okay, you see it coming together. We have half of them done now. Doesn't look quite like a wreath yet because we have the ink on one side with this design and on the other side with the other. And again, that's just when I placed them. I stamped the wheat pattern around first, and then I came in and placed the interior of the flower stamps just inside on the pattern image that was already stamped in my little wreath template. And then I could see where the existing stamp was once I had most of my circle done, so I would know where to place the other piece that I wanted. And now I just have one more left and we'll have our circle completed here. A wreath completed. Okay, now if I want to do another card just like this, my stamps are already in place. I can just bring in another piece of cardstock and go again. So that's how I did that wreath there. Okay, so what if you stamped your wreath, you made your card, you're done. You come back 6 months later and you want to do another one, and say this time we want to do it in the Thanksgiving colors. Let me put away my green. But if I'm coming back 6 months later, these stamps won't be on my Stamparatus anymore, right? I will have used them for something else. So if I'm coming back and I want to, let me get my color out here, then my orange, my pumpkin pie that I'm going to use. I can put that fresh one in there, but where am I going to lay the stamps? So if I will put my existing wreath back in there, I can lay these stamps down on it and line them up the way they were before. And then get my other stamp on here. Let me figure out how I had it. I think that, like that. So I really can put it anywhere. I just can't get it so close that it pushes this other one out of the way. I also could move it over here, or over here, or over here. It really doesn't matter where, because by the time I go around 8 times, they're going to be stamped where they need to be. So I've just laid them down on there on existing impression. Then I've got them inked up on this, or stuck to this side. So then I can go in with my new sheet of cardstock here. And I've already done the trial and error the first time that I did these cards. So I'm not going to end up with the circle but non-wreath or the squarish wreath. I'm going to end up with the wreath just how I want it, as long as I get my cardstock lined up in that corner like I want. There we go. Ink it up. Totally different look just because of a different ink color, which is really cool. One of the nice things about stamping is you can use one stamp set for lots of different colors. And I really loved when I came up with this wreath design because I don't have very many current Christmas sets, and I always want to show you guys things that are current, not things that are retired. Getting all this ink on the background, of course it's not going to affect my stamping, but look, you just take your Stampin' Chamois and clean it right off if the ink on there bothers you. But when you're done, you can clean off your stamps that way. The other thing is, you can just run these under the sink. And I've got a bathroom right next to my stamp room, so I just run in there and run everything underwater, let it dry on the counter, and then come back to it later. Or if I want to use it right away, then I just use my little Stampin' Chamois. And the one I was using there is yellow, not purple, and that is because I bought them online like a month or 2 before Stampin' Up came out with theirs, but let me tell you, the purple Stampin' Up ones are so much better. Super thick, super absorbent, a really, really great product. So if you don't have one yet, go for the Stampin' Chamois, and it's not expensive either. So, okay, let me show you the completed cards again. This is the Thanksgiving one, and the ribbon that I used on this one is from that ribbon duo where we've got an ivory and copper, and then we've got this blue. Is this Bermuda Bay, Soft Sky, one of these colors? I have it in the credits down below which color it is, but just that delicate copper trim, and it's a nice dainty ribbon to go with this paper. And the background paper that I used on this is from the Rooted in Nature bundle, and I chose it because it had those fall colors, but it has nothing to do with trees. Well, I guess if it's a wreath it technically does, but just goes real well with that. In fact, that still would be pretty like that, wouldn't it? So anyway, so much that you can do. And then on the Christmassy one that I made, I used the quilted embossing folder like that, and it's the Dynamic Textured Impressions, the super thick embossing folder is the one that I used on that one. And then used the bow that's from this same Jar of Love stamp set and the coordinating thinlits to cut the bow out, and then just use some of our red rhinestones for the background. So fun. So I hope you guys try this wreath technique. I really am excited about how it turned out with just a tiny bit of trial and error. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to shop, share, and subscribe, and go have some fun crafting today.